We continue to see a very serious situation evolving across the whole of the region in the southwest and the southeast of Queensland. I can advise that we have now almost completed the evacuation at Forest Hill. About 3/4 of an hour ago there remained 70 people to be evacuated, and we expect to have all of them out of Forest Hill and to safety very, very soon. In relation to the growing toll that this event is taking, the official death toll remains at 9. We can now revise down further the number of people missing to 59. However, I can say that the police now hold very grave fears for at least 15 of those 59. So while the official death numbers at this stage remain at 9, we have grave concerns for at least 15 others, and we remain with 59 people unaccounted for. In terms of SES activity, we are now seeing a lot of activity for all of our SES staff out there at the front line. Since midday yesterday, between the southwest and the southeast, we've seen 34,000 calls for assistance. This, of course, means we've got literally hundreds of people out there working to assist people, whether it's with relatively minor or critical incidents. In terms of the weather, the most recent report from the Bureau indicates, firstly, that rainfall since 9 a.m. this morning has seen more than 100 mils drop across a number of flood-affected areas, particularly in that Toowoomba and Lockyer Valley area. And we've seen that sort of rainfall directly into the Wivenhoe Dam and directly into its catchment. On a slight note of relief, the current forecast is that the rainfall is starting to ease across the region, and it's expected to weaken further overnight and hopefully start to clear by late morning tomorrow. However, the clearing rain does not change the forecasts, particularly for either Ipswich or Brisbane in terms of river levels. Ipswich, we continue to forecast a river peak of 22 metres sometime tomorrow, with highs of close to 19 metres overnight. Brisbane, by way of comparison, 22 metres expected in Brisbane. 22 metres expected in Ipswich tomorrow. By comparison, the peak in Ipswich in 1974 was 20.6. So we are seeing a very serious situation overnight in Ipswich. Similarly, the forecast for Brisbane remains, as I outlined earlier this afternoon, that we expect to see levels above the 1974 levels at the Brisbane City gauge sometime on Thursday. In Dalby, we're seeing the rivers stabilise, although remaining high. Chinchilla, the waters are continuing to rise, and they're continuing to rise in the Condamine, and are expected to do so slowly throughout the week, and could, at this stage, reach the previous high from last week that saw the town evacuated sometime over the weekend. In terms of Ipswich, we now have 4 evacuation centres established in Ipswich: the Ipswich Showgrounds, St Joseph's School, and Ipswich Boys Grammar and Ipswich Girls Grammar. The Mayor advises me that we now have more than 500 people at the showgrounds, and they are planning for that to swell to somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people overnight. In the 1974 flood saw 1,800 homes affected in Ipswich. So with river levels expected higher than that, I think you get a sense of what we're dealing with in Ipswich tonight and tomorrow morning. In the most recent modelling, although it's being revised, if we see these sorts of levels in the Brisbane River, then we would expect to see somewhere above 9,000 properties affected significantly by this water level, and more than 30,000 other properties having some impact. So we do expect to see large-scale impacts in suburbs around Brisbane. There's no doubt that we are now in, I think, a very different sort of disaster. And what it is doing is testing our emergency response, and it will test us as communities and as people. This weather, I think, is it might be breaking our hearts at the moment, but it will not break our will. What we have out there on the front line are some of the best trained people in Australia, and they are going to protect these communities, and we are going to make sure that we keep everybody that we can as safe as humanly possible.